Good evening to all, and welcome to this wonderful Air India Pavilion at the Overseas Travel Mart. And we are gathered here today to have a wonderful discussion on the topic Travel Rebound 2.0. With me, I have distinguished panelists with industry veterans with more than 15-20 years of experience. So to my right, I have Mr. Hussain Patel, the founder and director of TripJack Limited, which is a very aggressive B2B player in the market. Then I do have Dr. Sanjay Pai next to him. Dr. Sanjay Pai is an industry veteran. He has worked with Reliance Industries, and then subsequently now he's heading the travel and facilities and hospitality department. He's the vice president and head of travel at Larsen and Toubro. Then we have the most distinguished Miss Veena Patil, who is the founder and director for Veena World, and she is also the creator of so many brands in the travel market, which the least I could say is that the women's special brand, then you have senior citizen special brand, and the latest YOLO brand which she has created. And then we have Mr. Amay Amladi, who is the Chief Operating Officer of Akbar Travels. He is also an industry veteran. He has worked as country head for Cathay Pacific. He has worked with a country head for Austrian Air, and he brings on the table a fantastic range of experience from both sides of the table. So, and he is also today our anchor for this discussion. So I now hand over the mic to Mr. Amay to take it forward.
Well, thank you, Krish, for the lovely introduction that you've done for the participants. A warm welcome to all our viewers across for the panel discussion today on Travel Rebound 2.0. Krish has already introduced the panelists across this evening, and it's going to be a really very interesting discussion that we are going to have, and I hope the viewers like it actually. The fact is that we've known each other for almost about 20-25 years, or 30 years, okay. And we also know the family of Hussain very well, and I've seen him grow up as a kid. So I think we all know each other, so I think we're going to have a very informal discussion this evening, okay. So welcome to Travel Rebound 2.0. Well, as we speak here, it all started way back in Feb 2020, I remember when the COVID issue came into India, and it just spread all across India and all parts of the world, and unfortunately we had to close our operations, I think on 25th of March, and we thought at that point of time, as we were discussing right now, we thought that it would probably end within a month or two, but it just went on and on and on, and I think it neared almost 2 years. So I think there were a lot of learnings that we could get into that. I know things were not very easy, and I just wanted to take this from the participants in terms of how things went across over a period of time, and how did you tide over the situation. So may I request Ms. Veena Patil to take that up first.
Thank you, Amay, and namaste. Yeah. Actually, 2020 was the year we learnt a lot in 2020 and till today, because every day we are learning something new. Every day is new rather. And 2020, yes, of course, we all sat at home since 25th of March. And as Amay said, it was, no direction was there, and we were the first ones to got hit of it, and the travel was shut down all over. And we were the first victims, I think, and we could understand the gravity of that particular situation. Of course, that intense situation was still not, we were not aware, but we sat at home for last, I think, 2.5 years. And yeah, we actually looked back and then learned many things. We understood what we did right, what we did wrong, how to go ahead about it. If the situation is going to be like this, how we will survive and those kind of things, how to manage the companies, and all the questions were there in front of us. But the courage was there that, okay, because in that situation also we were never worried about travel will not rebound. That was the main thing, and everybody was having that kind of confidence, and we kept doing something, we kept training ourselves, we learned many things. And then, because all know that human beings are not going to stop travel anytime, and we were just waiting that when this lockdown gets over and when we again will go. Of course, that was a really long time. Never in the history of mankind we saw this kind of a situation. Even the wars, even the First World War, Second World War ended quite easily, but not this one. And now we are here. I can see this particular convention center full of people, full of travel agents, full of everybody and anybody, and everybody is here. And it's such a hopeful thing for the entire tourism industry that we are back on track. And let's look forward to, because now there is no stop for us. Yeah.
Sanjay, if you can give your thoughts from the corporate perspective. L&T has been a giant across, and I'm sure it affected everybody's business. So what was the thought process then? And I'm sure it was a difficult phase for everybody. So how do you see it from your perspective? And it's basically a sharing. I know we don't want that thing to come again, but some lessons that we could have learned from that.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks, Amay, to bounce this question to me. Like everyone, every corporate suffered, and travel being the first low-lying fruit, that was the first which was shut down, okay? But we were very sure in our heart that as it is nosediving, it will go up like a rocket. And now you're seeing that people have already crossed the pre-COVID figures, okay? Of course, with a larger ATP, okay? People are spending. Travel in India, basically from the business travel perspective, it's a touch market. So people travel, associates go, projects has to be gone in person. It can't be on a remote MS team or anything. Only thing now, what we feel is travel has gone up. The other wheels related to it, the consulates, the other infrastructure has to pull their socks across and be with that. So most of the consulates, I think so, they are doing their good, putting the good foot forward, but still there is lot to be done. Okay, so for us from the corporate market or business travel prospect, which I think in India we contribute almost 24 to 25% business travel, and if you go minutely from the associates like doctors, professors, so it goes up to 43%. Okay. So now people are traveling everywhere, wherever they could get visas and all that things. So I think it's a normalization and 1x more than whatever it was in the pre-COVID period. So that's my thought, and it will go further. Hope parallelly we have government also opening more airports, more infrastructure, and more logistics to support that. Thank you.
Young entrepreneur out here, Hussein, your thoughts on that? It was a tough phase, as we rightly said, and how did you tide over that situation?
So obviously, all of the guys who I'm sitting with here today are industry veterans. Whatever they said is absolutely true. In March of 2020, it was a very big shocker when India came into lockdown, and it was really devastating for anybody and everybody in the travel industry. We contribute to 10% of the GDP, and it was such a shocker for the entire country to be able to sit back and not do anything, have our costs ongoing, and obviously revenue was zero. So it was a very tough phase for all of us in the travel industry, but with every crisis there is an opportunity. We saw an opportunity to rebuild travel in a better way than it was before. We continued to our focus on technology. Obviously, that has been our core. 45,000 travel partners across India, they use tripjack.com. We didn't want to leave their hands. So whatever we could do at that time, we did. We continued our employment as it is. We did not fire anybody in the organization. So all our customers were used to listening to the same voices in the call center. Everyone was used to seeing the same salespeople. It was obviously digital, it was not physical, but we put in our best way forward. So obviously it was a very big impact. We came out of it sooner, and today we are doing very well as a company. But I feel all stakeholders within the industry, really need to appreciate that today all of us are sitting at OTM 2023 in a very, very big way. And it gives me a lot of confidence that going forward as well, we will be able to continue growing the way we have been. Things have come back to pre-COVID levels now, obviously, for everybody. That's a great sign. All stakeholders should be aligned, including right from the airline to the, even the Uber driver at the airport. They all need to come up together, provide that infrastructure, ease. The government needs to do a lot of stuff, providing infrastructure by creating more airports. The new budget has given us a very good news of 50 new airports to be announced in India. That's a good sign. Digi Yatra, I think that could be another very big initiative if the infrastructure at the airport still remains the same and there is efficiency of the passengers' movements at the airport. That will also bring in some more capacity. So I think I'm very excited to see what happens in the future. Thank you.
Well, it's really good to hear that we all came across through tough times. Talking about us also, being a large organization, the more bigger you are, the more difficult it is. So we had to look at opportunities as to how we could, sort of do better. And under the leadership of our CMD, we did a lot of charters, both outbound and inbound. Air India really supported us well during that period. Then slowly the government came up with the Vande Bharat program. So we did a lot on Vande Bharat. Then the government also opened up to the air bubble program. So we did a lot on that international travel also. And the seafarers travel, the seaman traffic, I think that was something that kept going. So I think we looked at that from that perspective. So all in all, a lot of quarantine packages also that we did across. So all in all, it was good, but the going was really tough, really tough. I must say that. And it's good to see that, the agents, the airlines have all come out of it and things are looking better right now. My next question basically is, how do you see travel post the pandemic currently? The way things are happening, the way things are going. Any thoughts on that, Veena?
Yeah, post-pandemic, a lot has changed actually. People now want to travel. In any case, because we have seen what can happen to a life. Okay, so previously it used to be save for the future and those kind of things, but I think that perspective has been changed now and people really want to enjoy the moment, and that shift of paradigm is actually what is going to benefited by travel and tourism industry, hotel industry and everybody. And I think with whatever the stress and strain currently the entire world is having because of so many things, I think travel is the only remedy, medicine-less remedy, I can say, and that's the best thing, and people have understood it, and that is the thing which is going to help travel and tourism industry. And I think travel and tourism industry deserves that because it has had a big hit, I can say, for last 3 years. So the travel is going to be a booming thing. And of course, as Hussein said, it is like yesterday in budget, lot of tourism things have come up. It has actually given us lot of boost because government has now shifted their focus, which was due, long time due. It was high time for India to turn towards tourism and develop our 50 airports and 50 new destinations, and with that wholesome package and everything, that's really giving us boost because that moral is high now, and which was needed. And I think like Europe, India is United States of India kind of a thing, where each and every state is like Europe, or it's within, like whatever our Honorable Prime Minister is saying, that it's Atmanirbhar Bharat. And in tourism also it can be Atmanirbhar Bharat, because I'll tell you, when it started a little bit, as far as tourism is concerned, in 2021 second half, that time actually we came up with a campaign, Dekho Apna Desh, which was the line given to every Indian by our Honorable Prime Minister. We took that line in our campaigns and we added like Dekho Apna Desh, Dil se, Pyar se, Samman se. And we actually had that campaign going on for last 2 years. Yeah, 2 years. And yesterday also the same thing was actually there every now and then in the budget also, because see, because it was not like, because international travel is not happening, we are going and seeing our Indian states. See, that should not be the perspective of Indians. It has to be like, this is my country and I must love my country, and my each and every state, like Sujalam Sufalam Bharat, must be seen by every Indian and every NRI, and that should be the goal for every Indian travel company and tour operator, and that is what is being done. And actually India has survived us, because my Singapore DMC once told me that you are so lucky that you are having your own country for travel. If domestic travel is started in Singapore, where we will take people? We are just 65 kilometers country. So we are so lucky that we are in India and we have so much to offer, even to our Indian tourists, even to the inbound tourists. And I think it's going to be, with all governments announcements yesterday, I think India is going to boom, and I think that credit India should get, at least with the efforts of this government.
Thanks, Meena. I think, we are proud to be an Indian, I must say that. Yeah, and
much.
Atmanirbhar Bharat is something that has been going on, and that's been the focus across from the current government. So I think we are pretty focused on that, and thanks for your valuable insights. Sanjay.
If I would add to what Veena said, she is with heart, she has spoken what India is. From the business perspective, I can very well say that India has some impact in the world now.
Very true.
We are currently the G20 president. We are presiding over that. Our dynamic ministers and prime ministers have declared many things to cultivate our own domestic market from the tourism perspective and other perspective. So I feel there are a lot of things to be done in India itself, and it should not be a vulnerable travel type of a thing. People should cultivate that they should first see India and then go abroad. So inbound, outbound, I think so there should be an the current imbalance should somewhere be on a balanced platform. And India has a lot of things to offer. If you see all the states, they have different culture, different food, cuisine, what they wear, what they talk, hospitality is throughout India. So,
yeah, unity in
so
diversity, as they say.
I think there's much more what India can offer to the world. Thank you.
Thanks, Sanjay.
Thanks.
And getting back to the youth of India.
So
Hussain,
the
your
youth
thoughts?
of India represents to, I think, 50% of the population now, right? I mean, below the age of 35, we have 50% of the people. The youth is obviously, wanting to explore new things at all the time. I guess the way they put it up, I cannot do it in a better way, because it's absolutely more experience in travel than me. But yes, what I'd like to add is that there's so much to do in India, and we as travel partners, we as customers, we need to really see what is the true gem in India in terms of travel and domestic. There's a lot of things to do. I think tourism boards can add a lot of value by bringing in the right perspective. We've got so much of wildlife into India, and a lot of people go for wildlife into India, right? But I think if we can try and make it better, create more infrastructure in terms of the resorts which can come up in multiple destinations, roadways. I think Mr. Gadkari is on a very big mission and he's doing very well. So that will also boost tourism into India in a very, very big way. So I'm really excited to see what's there for the youth also. There are so many destinations, there are so many adventure activities which are being done. Experiential travel is extremely important. From my perspective, if that can be also explored, there are so many things to do. So yeah, I think overall we are on a roll. Thank you.
Thanks, Hussein, for your thoughts. And as you rightly mentioned, I remember way back in 2020, I'm not talking about an Indian expert, but I'm talking international experts. They came back to say that things will only bounce back in mid of 23 going to 24. So they were talking about the financial year 23-24. But we always said that India would, sort of come out of it. And I think as the domestic flight started, they started going absolutely full up. I think COVID actually stimulated domestic tourism, if I may say so. And the same thing happened with the international also. Now, the flights, most of the flights are going at almost 90%, okay, both domestic as well as international. So I think India is a force to reckon with. And with the current problems that are happening way back in US, the recessionary trends that are happening in US and Europe for that matter, China is also down. So the entire focus, I think, is on India. So I think it's India going all through, and we look forward to a robust 23 right now. Yeah, I think that's really good. And I think it's a positive trend that is coming across to see along all verticals as we see here. I think that's really helping all of us, right? And from the challenges point of view, how do you see, you face any challenges in 2023, Veena? Well, you've been a tour company, and we just had the budget on right now. And you said, yeah, of course, the focus was on tourism, but there are certain aspects, I think, which needed a bit of clarification there. Because when we said, in terms of remittances abroad, it was 5% earlier. Now, I think the limit has also been reduced now. The capping has been reduced from 7 lakhs, and I think it's 20% right now. I know we can claim at the end of the year, but what are your thoughts on that? Would you suggest a change?
See, life is full of challenges, and when you do business, I think the challenges are more. So no complaints about it. Yes, we are facing a lot of challenges, but it's part of the business. That is what we take it as. And yesterday, like last 3 months, the entire tourism industry is facing a drop in international sector. That is because of the southeastern countries. They have put RT-PCR, and because of that people don't want to travel because nobody wants to get stuck there, and the bookings have dropped, and many other things are happening on that particular thing, and we are just waiting for when that RT-PCR is removed, because entire tourism industry is looking at that. So that is the one temporary challenge we are facing. Yesterday there was announcement of 20% TCS. I think that is also a big blow on tourism industry, outbound tourism industry, and we do thousands of people outbound. So definitely it is, as it is, the tour prices are high because of the inflation and because of so many factors, airfares and other things. And then this TCS, though it is going to get us, yeah, we can claim it, but at the time of booking, it's too much of a burden. If family of 4, it becomes too much. So that is also, everybody is requesting the ministry that it should be thought over again, and we really don't know. But see, now if it is coming, it is coming, and we have to accept it. If it is not going to change, and then we have to find out how to deal with it, because within the rules and regulation of our country, we have to do the businesses, and we will see how it, because the thing is, like, I feel that people will travel before July, before it is going to, but now the thing is, flights are full. Where you are going to get the seats? If people want to travel, the seats is going to be a crunch. Of course, when like companies like ours, yours, we have blocks, but at the same time, it's very like for that purpose, we can just do business as before for next 3 months. But what will happen after that? Will that? So it's actually wait and watch kind of a situation currently. And of course, there is uncertainty prevailing all over, like whether this COVID has entirely gone or it is going to erupt again and other things. But the resilience of Indians is wonderful, and whenever we are getting the window, we are also taking the tourists to all over the places, and even people are ready to travel. So now nobody wants to, sit at home and just confined to those four walls. So that is the big thing. People have learned, people want to come out, people will travel, and I think the future is really wonderful. So no need of worrying. Let's enjoy the moment. Whatever is coming, whatever will be, will be. Yeah.
You hit the nail in the coffin, as to say, And the fact remains at the end of the day, because, during COVID, health was a prime concern. Survival was something that everybody looked at. And having gone through the two S's, as we call it, stress and strain, the fact remains that, people want to travel, okay? And I see that is one of the reasons what you see today. Frankly speaking, I think nobody commented on that, but if you see the airfares on domestic, they've gone up by almost 30%. International, it's gone up by a great amount. In fact, certain cases it has doubled for that matter, but flights are going full, okay? So do you see a change in customer behavior there?
See, first let me cover few of the points and challenges, Veena has covered about the budgets, about some constraints and some holiday discounts on whatever she... But I tell you what are the challenges is, one, the visa which I covered, the consulate has to power. People are worried about the transition of fossil to green fuel, okay? Then the recession which is going on in Europe, the war which is going on between Ukraine and Russia, the fuel fare, the ATF fuel, which we used to purchase for 64, went up to 148.
That's right, yeah, true.
So it is 3 times. Okay, and now on an average, if I see last year, I am at 118.
Okay, that's good.
Which is pretty
Steep.
Second thing is due to the network which is not opened up fully, there's a huge ATP escalation on cost. So this all, of course, it's adding to all that things. The major second factor is the landing permit, okay, the parking charges.
So the costs have gone up.
And the infrastructure cost. Earlier it was in one bracket, now they have a rate card. Okay, they have passenger list. I'm talking about from the GA perspective, General Aviation perspective.
That's right, true.
So all these are challenges, and people are a little worried that there should not be resurge of the pandemic again, because China keeps telling that this is one variant which is there and all that thing. So I think India has handled COVID well,
That's true.
from vaccination to everything, and hope everything goes on well, and we move forward.
Thanks, Sanjay. Yeah, what you said is absolutely right. The airfares have gone up, but at the same time, the ATF has also gone up. And it's good for the airlines because for the past 2 years, the cash flow was always a problem. It's good for the airlines also that, they're making some good cash flows and some healthy revenues at the end of the day. I think that's something that would keep going. And that's something that we look forward to, because the two A's and A's are common, basically agents and airlines. If you go to see, it's a very common thing. And as you rightly pointed out, the airlines, if you see worldwide also, we haven't seen much of bankruptcies happen. They have come out of it. And it's good to see that the airlines are also doing well and the agents are also doing well in the bargain.
To monitor that trend, if you have to book any of business jets, the waiting period is between 24 to 30 months.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, you've been a veteran, and with L&T, you'll have your own aircrafts across. So I think you can speak a lot on that across. And as you rightly pointed out, the aviation industry is growing so big. Like for example, even Air India, I think, is looking at more aircrafts, but they're not getting it. They have to lease the aircrafts currently. So suddenly the demand has gone up so high at the end of the day, which is good for us because more the capacity, the better it is. Because I'm sure the viewers are going to ask us, that we spoke about the, airfares, that will we ever get those airfares of 2018 and 2019? Will we come to that?
Yeah, you'll get
Yeah.
once.
So it's anybody's guess,
Once
because
Mumbai has
more-
a second airport,
yeah,
you'll get that.
So I think it's a question of demand and supply. As the capacity increases, I think things will actually do well, and I think eventually it'll help the customer in the long run. Your thoughts on that, my friend?
So to add to what you guys already mentioned about the capacity, I think that's the real solution to bringing the airfares down. Because if you see in domestic India today, there are about 80 lakh travelers who travel on a daily basis on long haul trains, and about 4 lakh travelers who travel by domestic flights, and only 1 lakh travelers who travel by air. So there are a number of travelers in the
Absolutely.
industry,
Yeah,
and they want to travel. It's just that they're not getting enough of what they want. Maybe they want to travel by air, but because of less capacity, the airlines are charging a premium. And obviously the fuel costs have gone up. That is why they are charging the premium. So
That's right, yeah.
it's not like it's their complete. They are not the
As
helm
Sanjay
of the
also rightly
situations.
pointed out, the operational costs also have gone up.
Absolutely.
With the privatization of airports and all that, that cost
Yeah.
has gone up, your maintenance cost has gone up, your workflow,
Absolutely.
everything has gone up.
Yeah.
So I think they need to maintain that balance at the end of the
Yeah.
day.
And especially, I feel when the demand for international travel is only 100,000 people traveling on a daily basis, the government should try and revise the budget policy which they have come up with from 5% TCS to 20% TCS, because we should really try and push that segment as well. That is still a growing segment for us. And also it gives a very unfair advantage to the Indian tour operators, because the people who are operating overseas, if the customer pays them, then it is not applicable to them since their
Absolutely.
entity is not based
Absolutely.
in India.
You get that edge there.
So that is really unfair for the tour operators in India, and I think the government should think about it from that lens, because we should try and promote Indian companies as much as possible. So that's also really, really crucial.
That's right. Great. Krishna, your thoughts from the airline perspective, my friend?
Yeah, the airline perspective is that we have watched from 2020 when the pandemic struck. So all the airlines had to shut their flights, and but luckily for Air India, we had the support of the government, and we had so many stranded Indians abroad, we had to bring them back. So that gave us some sort of relief, but not fully. But we were operating at least. So once the rebound happened, the first rebound happened. So that is the time when we started building our capacity once again to try and build it up to the levels of 2019-20, which did not happen, but we went up to 60-70%, and then there was another scare of the pandemic rebounding with a new variant. So that's again because of the scare again, the travel went down a little bit, but slowly we saw it bouncing back, and now it is more than ever. It's much better than 2019 and 20 figures. So if you look at, as Hussein talked about, the number of air travelers on domestic is already touched 4 lakh daily basis, and more than 80,000 travelers, 1 lakh travelers at least on the international front. So I think we need to, so India is, people have started, realizing the importance of travel, and they want to travel. And currently air travel capacity is a little bit constrained. It is not up to the mark, up to the levels what it was in 2019-20, but soon it will happen, and Air India is very much there in that place, and we are trying to build our capacities going forward so that we'll take advantage of this huge rebound of travel which has happened, which is happening now. And I'm sure it is going to benefit all across the industry. All the players will benefit with that, be it corporates, be it tour operators, be it, the B2B players, everybody will benefit from it. And I see only a bright future going forward for all of us. The only thing I can say is that the pandemic has taught all of us to be more efficient. All the companies have become much more efficient in terms of utilizing their resources. So that is a one big plus for India, and India is moving forward. If you see the GDP growth is predicted at 6.9, so obviously the air travel should be in double digits. So that is a good positive sign for India and for Air India also. Air India is right there in that place, so we would try and take advantage of it as much as possible.
Thanks, Krish. I think that's it's really exciting to know that. And now with Air India under the leadership of Tata's, I'm sure it's going to strengthen further. And we look forward to Air India coming up to the good old days as one of the top 5 leading carriers in the world. And I'm sure the entire travel fraternity, I think, I could see that intensity from the panelists talking out here about India, I remember, as I said earlier, the rebounding of India is something that is spectacular. I think we really come out of it much faster than the others, for that matter. And I think that is something is good for us, and we look forward to it from that perspective. So Veena, coming back, your sons are in the business, right? And how do you see it? Are they bringing in a change management things coming up? What are your thoughts on that? It's nice to see the children coming up. I'm sure they come up with newer ideas and the new perspectives of how to go. And many a times it helps. So just some learnings for all of us.
Oh, it's a different question, but yeah, we are very happy because the second generation has joined the business, and it has to be always a blend of the tajurba, I can say, the experience of the parents or the founders, and then the new energies are coming in. And if you are able to match or do that blend properly, I think sky is the limit, and that is what is happening. Because see, we are very strong as far as the consumer is concerned, or because so many years of experience, the market, the Indians' mentality and other things. But for businesses today, the main is the technological support and all other things which are like, the world is changing so fast, and definitely the old school people like ours are not getting to go into that or adopt the change. But if the younger generation is into it and they are bringing those changes, so if experience and the new technology, if matches together, I think that will be the most beneficial thing for the business, and that is what is happening. And I'm really feeling that we are really blessed that the new generation is coming with the new energy, new technology, new marketing ideas. They are using all kinds of platforms and other things. It's really taking, means now there are no boundaries, and you can reach anywhere. The world is now looking like the little place. Yeah, it's in a basket, because yeah, it's becoming smaller, and thanks to the technology and the new
That's right,
generation. And I think people like us who are now I'll not say stepping down, but stepping aside, giving the knowledge and let them take it over kind of a situation, I think that will be benefited for businesses, family businesses in India.
Thanks, Veena. I think youth and experience and technology, I think all brought in together, I think it'll take India along further, as we all say. So I think we've had a healthy discussion on this. It was pretty interesting. We thank the panelists for coming across and giving your valuable time and your insights in terms of how the travel industry is going to move forward. We thank our viewers across for watching this. And as I said, the airlines are doing well, the agents are doing well, the entire travel fraternity is doing well. So I think we look forward to a buoyant 2023. So have a nice evening, folks. Thank you.